Hello everyone, welcome back. We'll keep going with our midterm review here, and I have a second set of review questions for this set of video lectures. So let's jump right in. The first practice problem we'll consider here is interpreting some HTML and JavaScript code. So if you look at the code snippet that I have to the right here, the output of this is going to look like this box up at the top here. And so what I'd like you to do is to take some time to think about how could you change the code so that it's going to make Homer appear in yellow when the big button is pressed. Go ahead and pause it here. Try to work this out. You're welcome to recreate this code if you like to try to figure that out, but the ideal goal is for you to be able to just sort of interpret this without having to mess around with it. But I will post this code snippet to Blackboard and Piazza for you to be able to practice with it if you'd like. So yeah, go ahead and pause here, and I will come back in a second and walk you through the answer. Okay, so hopefully that worked out for you and you think you have a good sense of it. I'm actually going to bring up my code to be able to show you my approach. So if you look at, let's see, here we go. If you look at what I have up here, currently the way to interpret this, where you have this sort of output, see, I'll put that there, and let's bring up the output over here on the side. What we can do is right now when you press these buttons, the big button will, actually let me refresh it. Let's see, big button is connected here. So that's button 1 is what has the big button label on the outside. So its ID is just button. On click, it runs this function, read, for my table. So function read, if we look down here, here it is. It's going to get a passed variable in here, which is going to be my table. So we're going to run the function read for my table, and it's going to document.getElementById. So this pass variable, which is my table, we're going to update the style, the color, and that's red. And so you can see when we press that big button, all the name labels turn red. The second button, class button, is this second one down here, and this will run the function black, and it's going to pass center. So if we look down here, black is going to be run for center, and we're going to get element by ID. So the center, one named center, we're going to update the color to black, and you can see the element here whose name is center is this center, this middle one here. That's Bob is the inner HTML. So when we hit that, Bob is going to be the only one that turns black. So how could we get this so that when we press the big button, that Homer will become yellow? Well, I just added in a little bit here that I can uncomment, and we'll use that. So now we can also have it get the element by ID right and update the color to yellow. Note that if we did it here with this pass one, it would just do it for my table, so it would do for all of these ones, and it does work in order here. So this first one would happen, so it technically would turn red first, and then this second one would happen afterwards. So let me save this, refresh my HTML, and you can see the class button will make that happen here. I'm sorry, it's the big button we're supposed to do that. Are we automatically doing it? Okay. Let me see. There we go. All right, so it's reset, and then big button. We'll get just these red ones here, and then yellow for Homer. Okay, so hopefully that kind of gives you an idea about how some of this stuff works. And if you have any questions, absolutely let me know. But let's tackle another practice problem here. So again, to recap here, you can add in another part of the function for this red, which happens with big button, and add in a line where it changes it to yellow. Okay, so one of the things you're going to have to do on the exam, if you recall, is to be able to evaluate some existing UIs. So I brought this very kid-friendly version of a UI for you to take an evaluation of. And so in this case, let's look to find two visual variables in their graphic design. What have they used here? And then also discuss, well, let's pause here, figure out two visual variables that have been used here. If you need help, I would suggest the graphic design and layout reading module. And let's pause here, and I'll come back. I'll talk about the visual variables, And then we'll also then talk about ways that you could change an element to increase the efficiency. So pause it here. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you found 2 visual variables. Probably more than that would be a great thing. Let's just kind of review what the visual variables that we would have to choose from are. So you essentially in our lectures, we've gone through 6 of these that you can make some distinctions along 6 different dimensions: the value, the hue, the shape, the position, the orientation, and the size. And what this does is it allows us to, the contrast between these allows us to perceive differences along them, and similarities are going to make them sort of group together. So the similarities in shape of these circles is one visual variable that they're manipulating here, and they're grouping these all together using that. So we will actually start to automatically kind of connect them all as a similar type of a thing. And they make a distinction between them. The contrast here is in the hue. So you have a purple, a blue, a green, whatever that color is, a pink and a purple, and you can even see here a yellow one over here. So those are 2 ways that they're using shape to group a category together, and they're using color to make distinctions between those categories. Okay, so that's one way to look at the first part of the problem. You might have come up with some other visual variables. You may have said something about these cutouts up here as contrasts in shape where they actually use distinctions. They also use contrast in color there as well. And then they also use contrast in color between the different elements here where you have the sort of treasure hunt bit, and then the next one down here for games are distinguished by color. Okay, so let's think about the next challenge for you is to try to add an element to this page or change some part of it that would increase the efficiency, and explain why that would help. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this here. And when you come back, I'll talk about what I might do to increase the efficiency of this page. So go ahead and pause. Great, welcome back. Hopefully you came up with some good ideas for efficiency here. And one thing that I note here is that whenever you get these little extended arrows where you have to start to scroll across, to me that really shouts out to be an area of the UI that you can improve for efficiency. Now, it may work here because the simplicity of this is useful, and for kids maybe that's a good thing. But what I would do to increase efficiency is actually combine all these things into one big sort of radial menu that just has like characters or some sort of label about what's underneath. And so when you hover over that, then you would expand a circle around that has all of these options for you. That way you can kind of squeeze more of them into one space, and you are going to be able to have them all then quickly accessible to wherever the mouse is, as opposed to if you're at this point in the screen, you need to get all the way across. It would be a small improvement to efficiency, but again, anytime you can get rid of these little arrows to scroll your way across to something else, for me, that's a win for efficiency. So this is the kind of problem that we will ask you to do. I'm going to give you some sort of novel UI, ask you to evaluate a few aspects of it, and very likely ask you to make some changes or suggestions to increase learnability, efficiency, or safety. So let me throw one more practice problem at you here. This one is going to be a scenario where you're going to have a very, very similar problem for your actual midterm. So what we'll do is give you this paragraph like this, which should be familiar to you based on the work that you just did for GR2, where you have to come up with your own scenario. So we're going to give you one. And the idea here is that based on the scenario, you're going to create a design sketch for a mobile app and explain 3 design choices you made, being specific about the UI principles. And the UI principles are learnability, efficiency, safety. You have to specifically include those things when you're talking about these types of things, okay? So I won't read this scenario to you, but what I would highly encourage you to do is to genuinely take this as practice. This is going to be the most authentic part of our midterm. Is going to be, you're going to have something almost identical to this, just a different scenario, and you're going to be asked to do a very similar thing. So read through the scenario and then come up with some design sketches. Do 3 or 4 panels that would sort of illustrate what a design that would meet this scenario would look like. And I highly encourage you to paste that to Piazza, interact with your peers about these things, reach out for some feedback on what people think, and then that way the TAs and I can also give you some feedback on here. So I won't present a solution for you, But I will definitely respond to solicitations from feedback on designs that you come up here. So I think this is maybe the most important part of practicing and prepping for the midterm that you can do. Okay, so grapple with that scenario, post some stuff to Piazza. We'll take a look and give you some feedback. And this will be the last video lecture for the general class. I'm going to come back and do one more that's just on walking through AS1 for the graduate students in the class. So if you are an undergrad, this is what I'll have for you for review. Keep putting those questions into Piazza as you're studying, as you're thinking about these things, and let me know how we can help. I'm excited for you all to get to this midterm. I think it'll be hopefully a good test of your capabilities and what you've learned so far. So thanks for being here. I will see you all, I guess maybe not Wednesday because I'm just releasing the test. So it'll be another week till we see each other. And that'll be week 10, home stretch of this class. And looking forward to that. Okay, thanks everyone. I'll see you soon.